This is News Now. I am Perpetua Fasumi Peter. Governors under the aegis of the Progressive Governors Forum were not asked to pick a consensus presidential candidate for the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. This is according to the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Fayemi, who issued a statement on Thursday denying claims that his principles suggested the idea of a consensus or zoning arrangement ahead of the APC presidential primary slated for June 6. In his piece titled Visit to Spain, Let's Buga for Mr. President, Adesina clarified that Buhari only met with the governors and told them his expectation for the forthcoming presidential primary of the party. According to the presidential spokesman, Buhari never discussed issues bordering on zoning, consensus or imposition of candidates during his conversation with the governors. A presidential aspirant and Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Fayemi, has denied stepping down in favor of another contestant, saying he's favorably positioned to clinch the All Progressives Congress ticket. In a statement issued on Friday, the spokesman of the Fayemi campaign organization, Femi Ige, debunked reports that the governor had withdrawn from the presidential race. While describing the report as absolute rubbish, the governor said there was no way he would drop his ambition, as he has the backing of those he described as APC's real stakeholders. The spokesman said no amount of late-night demarketing will work against the Fayemi presidential project. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on Friday filed a 2-count of drug trafficking charge against 9 Ghanaians in the Federal High Court in Lagos. The charges against Victor Wuda, 30, Freeman Gazo, 25, Joseph Adotete, 31, Moses Scotty, 52, Christian Teti, 27, Stephen Scotty, 26, Kabu Okonipa, 25, Daniel Toyekti, 35, and Kabu Nati, 38. According to the charge signed by NDLEA prosecutor Mr. Jeremiah Ernan, the suspects were arrested on February 20 at the High Sea at Badagry. The suspects were alleged to have conspired to unlawfully engage in the transportation of 10.8 kilograms of cannabis sativa, a restricted narcotic similar to cocaine, heroin, and other hard drugs restricted by law. He said that the offense contravened the provisions of sections 11 subsection B and 14 subsection B of the NDLEA Act Cap 30 Laws of the Federation 2004. The charge is pending before Justice A. Aluko, and the defendants will be arraigned on June 16. The Lagos State government has insisted that there is no going back on its decision to rid 6 local government areas and 9 local council development areas of commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada. In a bid to actualize its objective, the government says it is already crunching commercial motorcycles numbering 2,228. These motorcycles impounded by the Lagos State Task Force are being crushed in an undisclosed location in the state, said Gboyega Akosile, who is the Chief Press Secretary to the State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. According to Akosile, who shared a video of the crushing of the impounded motorcycles via Twitter on Friday, Lagos deserves better than Okada. He stated that the enforcement exercise would continue until the affected local government areas and local council development areas were rid of commercial motorcycles. The affected local government areas include Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa. The government had announced a total ban on the operation of commercial motorcycles in the areas effective from June 1, following concerns raised over the security and safety of the residents. A federal high court in Abuja will on August 29 deliver judgment in the extradition suit filed by the Attorney General of the Federation against the suspended DCP ABBA over his alleged link with Ramon Abbas, popularly known as Hush Puppy, an alleged internet fraudster held in the United States. Justice Iyange fixed the date after counsel for the parties in the suit adopted their processes and presented their arguments in the matter. The federal government had sought KYARI'S extradition to the U.S. to answer a case over his alleged link with Hush Puppy. While the AGF is the applicant, KYARI is the respondent in the application. KYARI formerly headed the Inspector General of Police Special Intelligence Response Team, IRT. The application was filed under the Extradition Act as part of the Nigerian government's approval of the request by the U.S. for KYARI'S extradition. KYARI and 6 others are currently facing a separate trial on allegations bordering on drug trafficking before a sister court presided over by Justice Emeka Nwite. The European Union has expressed its desire to partner the Bayelsa state government in critical sectors to foster socio-economic and infrastructural development of the state. Thomas Kila, the political advisor to the EU ambassador to Nigeria, stated this when he led the delegation to pay a courtesy call on the state governor, Doye Diri, at the government house in Yenagoa on Thursday. He said the EU delegation was in Bayelsa on a fact-finding mission to identify key areas of collaboration with the state government, such as infrastructural development, human capacity building, and security, as well as key into already existing programs of the administration. Kila, who said the EU team would stay in the state for a couple of days meeting with various groups, explained that their visit was also to prepare the ground for the EU ambassador's planned visit to the state in no distant time. He restated the EU's readiness to work closely with the government towards improving the well-being of the people. No fewer than 20 persons were injured following a gas explosion at a liquefied petroleum gas refilling shop at Sheka Quarters, KUMBOTSO local government area of Kano State. The incident happened at about 8 p.m. on Thursday after a cylinder exploded, which also led to the destruction of some shops. It was gathered that the fire started when a fish seller was frying the fish near the gas refilling shop. When contacted, the public relations officer of the Kano State Fire Service, Saminu Yusuf, confirmed the incident. He said that the 20 affected persons were rescued alive and taken to hospital for treatment. A high court of the Federal Capital Territory in Wuse on Friday remanded Peter Nwachukwu, husband of the late gospel singer OSINACHI'S, at the KUJE Correctional Facility, pending the hearing and determination of the homicide-related suit instituted against him by the Attorney General of the Federation. Justice N.K. gave the order after he pleaded not guilty to 23 counts bordering on domestic violence and homicide, among others. The judge ordered that the suspect be remanded at the correctional facility, while trial was adjourned to June 16 from 12 p.m. and June 17 by 9 a.m. Nwachukwu's wife died on April 8, and many of her colleagues had accused her husband of subjecting the deceased to domestic violence, leading to her death. Afterwards, the police arrested him, and he has since been in detention. And from the African scene now, 4 Kenyans were killed Thursday after police opened fire on a crowd of protesters in Kajiado County, the eastern part of the country. Mashuru Police Commander Charles Chepong said 7 others were injured and admitted to a local hospital following the fracas in the Masimba area. 3 were killed at the scene while the 4th died in the hospital, the police commander had said. Chaponga said the group was protesting against the persistent invasion by wildlife animals in the area. According to him, an elephant had apparently killed a teacher in the area, and locals were angered by a lack of action from authorities. The locals also said the perennial wildlife invasion had caused the destruction of property in the area. And the UN wants that millions of Chadian people will need humanitarian aid this year. The UN wants that millions of Chadian people will need humanitarian aid this year. Chad's interim president, Mahamat Idris Deby, had signed a decree declaring a food and nutrition emergency. The plea for aid comes before a meeting between African Union Chairman Macky Sall and Vladimir Putin to discuss Russian grain supplies. The United Nations has warned that 5.5 million people in Chad, more than a third of the population, will need humanitarian assistance this year. The World Food Programme said in March that some 2.1 million Chadians would be severely food insecure during the dry weather season that starts this month. And on a foreign scene, Turkey's government has sent a letter to the United Nations formally requesting that it be referred to as TÜRKIYE, the state-run news agency has reported. The move is seen as part of a push by Ankara to rebrand the country and dissociate it from the bird of the same name and negative connotations associated with it. An Anadolu agency said Stefan Jirashik, spokesperson to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, confirmed receipt of the letter from the Turkish foreign minister. The agency quoted Dujarik as saying that the name change had become effective from the moment the letter was received, declaring enough. U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday called on Congress to ban assault weapons, expand background checks, and implement other gun control measures to address a string of mass shootings that have struck the United States. Speaking from the White House in a speech broadcast live in primetime, Biden asked a country stunned by the recent shootings at a school in Texas, a grocery store in New York, and a medical building in Oklahoma how many more lives it would take to change gun laws in America. The president, a Democrat, called for a number of measures opposed by Republicans in Congress, including banning the sale of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, or if that were not possible, raising the minimum age to buy those weapons to 21 from 18. He also pressed for repealing the liability shield that protects gun manufacturers from being sued for violence perpetrated by people carrying their guns. Well, it's a wrap on this segment, and coming up now is entertainment business. Thanks for watching. I am Perpetual Fayemi Peter.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam. First rising singer Chukwuka Ikwuani, popularly known as CK, has received another global recognition as his hit single Emiliana bagged platinum certification in France. The National Syndicate of Phonographic Publishing, the professional organization in charge of French records, made this known on their official Instagram page. According to the announcement, CK's song got the certification after getting an equivalent of 3 million streams in France. CK also shared the announcement on his verified Instagram page. Emiliana had bagged the gold certification in France in April after he sold 100,000 units of the song in the country. The singer has already achieved double platinum certification in France with his global smash hit Love Wantinti. Love Wantinti garnered over 2 billion views on TikTok and 500 more on YouTube. The song has already charted on 6 continents, hitting #1 in India, Norway, and Switzerland. CK's fans had expressed disappointment last week when his hit song Emiliana and Love Wantinti didn't make the 2022 Headies nomination list. However, the singer had promised his fans that his album, scheduled to be released later this year, will make history. And away from that, TikTok is launching a subscription comedy series hosted by creator Jericho Menke that will stream exclusively on the company's live video platform. In the series, Finding Jericho, Menke will host comedic interviews with a range of characters, including the clown from Craigslist. The entire series, which consists of 8 30-minute episodes, will cost $4.99 to watch, though the first 2 episodes will be released for free to all TikTok users. The subscription series comes as TikTok has begun rolling out a monthly subscription tool for select creators with more than 1,000 followers that gives their paying fans perks like subscriber badges, custom emotes, and subscriber-only chats. The feature follows similar subscription offerings from social platforms like Instagram and Twitter. And it's a wrap on Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam. Coming up next is Sports Updates with Samson Oluidi.
The 2022 U.S. Women's Open at Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club in Southern Pines, North Carolina, is setting a standard in gender pay equality. The 4-day event will have a record $10 million purse up for grabs, a $4.5 million increase compared to last year's tournament at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. Increasing the purse is a step to closing the gender pay gap. The men's 2021 U.S. Open purse was $12.5 million, with the winner, John Ram, taking home $2.3 million. The 2022 Masters at Augusta National had a purse of $15 million, up from $11 million in 2021. The winner of this year's U.S. Women's Open will take home only $1.8 million. The boosted purse comes after the USGA and non-profit organization ProMedica agreed to a long-term partnership in January that included presenting partner rights and elevating the U.S. Women's Open's purse. The deal also requires the purse to reach $12 million by 2026. Still talking sports business, in the world of basketball, LeBron James missed the playoffs this year, but he still managed to do something no NBA player has ever done, which is becoming the first active player to reach a net worth of over $1 billion, according to Forbes. The Stars earned $385 million in salary from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, and Los Angeles Lakers, but his endorsements, investments, and ventures have brought him into the three-comma club. James holds an estimated $300 million in equity in the entertainment venture Spring Hill Company, which he founded with Maverick Carter. Spring Hill, a producer on last year's Space Jam: A New Legacy, was valued at $725 million after a $100 million raise in 2020. A stake in Fenway Sports Group, owner of the Boston Red Sox, Fenway Park, and Liverpool, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, is valued at $90 million. Forbes estimates that James has $80 million in real estate and $30 million through his stake in Blaze Pizza. On top of his most publicized investments, James is believed to hold over $500 million in cash, stock, and other assets. James is the second highest paid athlete in the world this year, with $121.2 million, behind only Lionel Messi at $130 million, according to Forbes. While Messi gets most of that through salary, James earns $80 million off the cut. Still talking basketball, with NBA playoff ratings soaring and a potential finals classic in the making, ticket prices are rising to new highs. The secondary market's average list price for Warriors Celtics is currently $3,241, the second most expensive final series since Ticket IQ started tracking. Last year's Bucks and Suns series fell about $500 short from this year, while the most expensive ticket still belongs to the 2019 Warriors-Raptors finals, which averaged $3,899 per seat. Golden State's home average for the series is $3,526, the highest of the Dubs' 6 trips to the finals since 2015, while the Boston Celtics average of $2,860 ranks second in Eastern Conference history. The big market allure and superstar shine could lead to a bigger spike in ticket prices as this season's final series goes on. Game 1 tickets currently run from $740 to an eye-watering $25,274. If the series goes 7, it will cost a minimum of $1,479 to get into the building and a whopping $81,533 to sit courtside. Golden State Warriors owner Joe Lacob will finally get a show of Golden State's Chase Center on the biggest stage, built for roughly $1.4 billion in 2019. And that's it on Sports Business. Up next is the Stock Market Report.
You're still watching Business Now on IBrandTV Lagos. Now, here are equities market report for today, the 3rd of June 2022. Nigerian equities market saw an upward swing on Friday as the NGX All-Share Index gained 0.27% to settle at 52,908.24 from 52,862.14 points on Thursday. At the same manner, the market capitalization increased in value, gaining 1.4 billion naira. The total volume traded on the floor of the exchange rose above 282 million units of shares and valued at 3.4 billion naira in about 4,245 deals. On the gainers lists, NEMS Insurance and Charms led the chart with 38 kobo and 2 kobo each to close at 4 naira, 2 kobo and 24 kobo. A champion, Nigerian Brews and Eterna gained 29 kobo, 4 naira, 20 kobo and 48 kobo to close at 3 naira, 89 kobo. Now 63 naira, 70 kobo and 7 naira, 70 kobo respectively. On the flip side, UPDC, a real estate investment trust, led the chart, losing 35 kobo to close at 3.40 kobo, as WAPIC lost 2 kobo to close at 42 kobo. Shares of UACN, Caverton and International Brewers followed suit, losing 4.35%, 3.36% and 3.33%. And that's the equity stock report for today. And that also brings to an end Business Now on IBrandTV Lagos Now. Thank you so much for being part of it all. I'm Michael Nas.